Hey everybody, Holistic Travel Guy here. We finally made it to Avebury and we're with our good friend Alex. First he was just a friend and now he's a good friend because he's an absolute delightful man with an incredible personality and incredible depth of knowledge about the ancient sites here in the UK. So far we've learned a tremendous amount about burial mounds, which are called barrows. Barrows. And we've learned a tremendous amount about Stonehenge and Woodhenge. We've learned a lot about the, what are the longer mounds called?
Long barrows.
Long barrows.
Yeah, in contrast to the round barrows.
Right, the round barrows do not contain any human remains, but the long barrows were burial sites, and they've excavated some skeletons from those mounds to help date the age that those structures were created. So again, we're in Avebury, where there were originally 99 giant monolithic stones standing in almost a perfect circle, except for one corner that was squared off, which Alex explained earlier. And this whole circle was not only surrounded by a giant deep moat, but it also contained, how many circles within the circle were there? Two more, right?
Yeah, there's two smaller circles that we just can't see. It's over the road.
Over the road.
And those large circles, stones, and then there's some smaller ones in the centre, so we'll go past those.
So we're going to pass those on our next quarter. So far we've covered half of the area of Avebury, including some of the village that's inside the circle, and now we're entering the third quarter and we're about to pause and take a closer look at some of these giant stones. So on our right.
One thing to notice here, I mean, this is a good example of a diamond-shaped stone, and there is a theory that the diamond-shaped stones are supposed to represent the feminine. And if we go a little further along, we've got some more upright, phallic-shaped stones representing men.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
The idea, now where this idea comes from, I can't remember. It's some kind of anthropological inference onto the archaeological data and what people know about the history of the people that were here. The supposition is that the ancient people thought of the stones as their ancestors, and it wasn't just that the stones were representative of their ancestors, but the stones were physically their ancestors. They were descended from these stones.
I understand, yeah.
And that may be why they were also keen on preserving the bones of their ancestors, because the bones were closest thing to stone. So it's like their ancestors become stones, become the things, become part of the landscape.
So by preserving the ancestors in the stone, they're in effect they're helping to preserve the memories that they have of those ancestors.
But also they're also, I think the important part, we tend to romanticise the ancient people and power politics in their world as much as there are in ours, and stating your claim to your territory is an important thing that ancient people needed to do. I think that's why a lot of the burial mounds are buried where they are, made where they are, is they're claiming territory of the tribe, of our dead are buried on here.
Gotcha.
Our ancestors' bones are now part of the land. And likewise, stone circles like this, these stones are representative of the collective ancestors of all the different tribal peoples who participated in building the stones. And we know there were different tribes participated in the building of Avebury, at least because there are different types of each of these stones has a foundation layer, and the foundation layers have been found to contain stone from 4 different areas. The stone for the foundations has been brought in from elsewhere, and those 4 different areas may well have been 4 different tribal lands.
I see.
That by bringing these 4 different lands together and placing these stones on top, those tribes are like creating this as a shared space, as a space where they don't have to compete with each other. So that's my theory, that stone circles were actually places of like peaceful meeting.
So this would
tribes.
be, in effect, a way to bring communities together to coexist with each other rather than create conflict with each other.
Right.
This would be an area that would support that communal building bridges, as they say in our modern.
It could have been. I mean, not just there are thousands of, or there were thousands of stone circles all across Britain. Many of them are like maybe 1/100th of the size of Avebury. They can be very small, just 10 metres across. There's dozens of those that still exist. Now, what was their purpose? Why were they located where they are? I think that the stones were treated as ancestors, and they were treated as witnesses to peaceful behaviour, in a sense. And the stone circles were places that were universally respected by tribes, where they could go and trade with each other without fear of cheating on each other, because the ancestors were witnessing everything that went on. And they were places where peace negotiations could be made, or events that united tribes could be held.
I love that vision, Alex, of peaceful coexistence. It, just you saying those words and me, standing here and feeling that type of energy existing in this area is a strong acknowledgement that this area is truly sacred space. And if anyone were to come visit, anybody viewing this were to come visit here, I believe that they would also instantly feel the calm and peaceful sacredness of this space. All right, folks, you heard it here first, or maybe not. And we're going to go ahead and continue to the next quadrant of Avebury in just a few minutes. We'll see you over there.